All right, here we are again. Welcome to Around the Product Development, which is our weekly series where we dive deep into the world of digital product creation, and it's all in 25 minutes. Here we explore every stage, from ideation to conversion and monetization, providing you with actionable insights and practical knowledge. Each week, we try to bring you fresh perspectives from industry experts, giving you the opportunity to learn directly from their hands-on experience. And all this is possible thanks to our Agile Product Builders community, which is a Slack community powered by Boldare, digital product creators and consultants. And today, we're really excited to introduce our next guest, Andrea Caviglia, an expert in e-mobility world with a passion for designing seamless user experiences. And this is the topic for today's episode. Andrea has played a key role in shaping intuitive charging solutions, making the whole process easier for us regular users and making it more enjoyable. That's 100% true. So, Andrea, could you start sharing a bit about yourself, your background, and your role at Nidec?
Absolutely. Thank you, Oscar, for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be invited for this occasion.
Pleasure's all mine.
Good. Yeah, let's start from myself, from Nidec, I would say. So I'm currently leading the e-mobility global product management at Nidec Conversion. I have a 8-year experience in e-mobility, EV infrastructure, and sustainable energy in general. I was passionate since the early days in the e-mobility, and I keep my passion still today. Just a bit of context, since we are here talking in general and you have a wide audience. E-mobility, what is e-mobility? E-mobility is everything that is concerning electric vehicles, so cars, trucks, buses, and then there are, let's say, behind the curtains, companies like Nidec that produce electric charging stations, so where basically you plug in your vehicle and charge your car. And then everything else that it could be your app on your phone to charge, to start charging your session. So this is e-mobility. And Nidec Conversion, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you actually about the Nidec itself, like if you could just elaborate a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nidec is a 50-year-old company, which is a Japanese, and it is a Japanese company. We started in electric generators, and now it's differentiating a lot in different businesses, such as e-mobility. Nidec could be anywhere, basically. Probably you don't know, but Nidec produces also the small vibration motors in your phone, probably. And but it also creates the big generators over 1 megawatt or 10 megawatt of power. It's we are literally anywhere. But in terms of differentiation, now we are also exploring new businesses such as e-mobility. In fact, we started kind of early, let's say late in the e-mobility business compared to others. So we started in 2019. For a specific project for a battery integrated charger. So Nidec is a project company as a DNA, which means that we get the requirements from our customers and we follow the customer requirements. So in this case, we start our journey in this way. In this specific project, we were asked to deliver a battery integrated charger, which enabled basically to have an ultra-fast charger over 300 kilowatt, which deadline is charge your vehicle in 15 minutes, even in case of a weak grid connection. So with only 100 kilowatt from the grid, you would get a 320 kilowatt to your vehicle, which at that time, 2019 was groundbreaking, really. There was nobody doing it. And still today, it's kind of a niche market, but it is very promising. So
All
that's
right.
where
Yeah.
we started.
Yeah. 320 sounds like most of the even current cars, I believe, are not ready to be loaded with such a power, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
It's crazy. After all these years, I think that there are a handful of cars that can get 300 kilowatt, correct?
Oh, wow. And your particular role within this realm of e-mobility is
So my
you,
role is the head
yeah.
of global product management. So what
Yeah.
my role is to lead the global product management team, which means that I look at the creation of new products in the European market and also in the North American market.
All right. Okay. So we're today talking about challenges. I mean, like providing the seamless experience for the EV owners. And I would like to ask you about, because you probably mapped it 100 times and, try to optimize the flows. What unique challenges do EV owners face compares, for example, to the, regular conventional gas stations that we can just go quickly stop by, refuel and go further. And how do you address this through your design, through your user experience? This would be the first question from my side.
Yeah, that's a very good question because in the end, that's the bottom and the heart of the problem, the user experience for a new technology. Because every time that there is a new technology, there is friction, there is maybe anxiety, there is maybe fear from the user because they don't know the technology. And a role of companies like Nidec is to make it as seamless as possible. So the main challenge, I would say, is the range anxiety. So I think that
Mm,
everybody knows at this point about range anxiety, but just to do a quick definition, basically it is the fear for the user that uses a electric vehicle to not arrive to the next charging station. Basically, right now we know that the electric cars have still not as long ranges of autonomy compared to a fuel cars, even if there has been a huge already improvement in terms of range autonomy of the vehicles, but still it's a real thing to have range anxiety. And connected to this, there is always the, let's say, the experience of the charging speed and charging time. So you connected the how far I will go with my vehicle and how long I will stay at the charging station to charge. So these are the two main challenges for
mhm,
the normal user. And I think that there are two direct answers to that. One is to make the charging session as fast as possible, which translates into the highest power delivery as possible. And also on the, let's say, time spent in front of the charger or near the charger, I think that it must be spent well. It must be easy and must be seamless. This means that the charging experience, which means how to start the charging session and how to and what to see during the charging session must be intuitive. So you need to understand easily what to do. And then it must be user-friendly in order that the interface, the user interface is very easy to look, to understand, and to read. And then there is the real-time update, which means that on the charger itself, maybe on your app, you can see how the charging session is going. Your car is charging, how many kilowatt is charging, and how far and how long will it take to charge your car fully?
mhm, mhm. How about
Um,
the payments? Are there any solutions around it as well to provide like, super seamless, just go and recharge kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, when you're in front of the charger, basically,
Mm,
as I was saying, you have to be presented with a very simple user interface, and that's
hmm
one key aspect of it. There must be multiple possibilities to pay because users maybe have different needs and different expectations.
hmm
For example, you would like probably to use your app because in the e-mobility, it's quite frequent, it's quite normal to be registered to have a subscription with what's called EMSP, which is a e-mobility service provider,
hmm
which are the companies that offer your app, and basically you as a user would pay the charging session to them to start the charging session and so on, and for the energy that you pay in the end. So that's one mean of payment, your app. Then there could be just a RFID card, which are these small plastic cards that you could use like a credit card. You tap on the charging station, and that's it. You would be able to start your charger. And it is always connected to the app usually or to a subscription with an SSP. But
All right.
sometimes there is also the need to start the charging session without a subscription. That's very important. I think that it is becoming more and more important. For example, there is the AFIR in Europe, which is asking for the players in the e-mobility business to allow people, users, to pay also without a subscription, which means basically with a credit card.
hmm
This is also a possibility and an opportunity to give the seamless user experience and easy to start the charging process. And finally, to be, let's say, complete, there is also the possibility to pay with a normal QR code. So you are not subscribed to anything. Maybe you don't have a credit card on hand, but you have still your phone. So the last possibility is to scan the QR code and do the payment directly on your phone, but without any subscription. And that's good because you can understand there are multiple charging processes and payments methods, and
hmm
you have to show it very clearly on the user interface of the charger.
Clear to me. Yeah, there are a lot of aspects to take care about, right? As you said, like this range anxiety, then of course taking care of the time is up to user's preference of the charging, which is you're the one side, the vehicles we already touched, it needs to be ready as well to actually receive that amount of voltage, that amount of power at once. So there are a lot of factors on the way to actually puzzle up together. So you as a company, you as a provider of such solution can actually go forward, right? And from my perspective, it's such a dynamic environment that maybe asking about the future of it is a bit of exaggeration. But what are the trends maybe or innovations in e-mobility that you currently see influencing your work, your approach to work, your design of charging station experiences? And if there are new, coming obstacles, coming challenges, how do you prepare for those?
That's a very relevant question, Oscar, because e-mobility, it's a very fast-paced market. It's
Mm,
a very challenging market, but that's also the the great aspect about it, because you have always new technologies, new developments, and from a product manager and from a company which is always innovating, it's great because you go after or what and try to anticipate what the market is asking and trying to model what is your offer behind it. So I
yeah.
think back to the, let's say, range anxiety, user
hmm
experience, I think that there are two main aspects. I go back to the faster charging, and
Hmm.
charging methods. The faster charging, there are let's say, two players that are fundamental for this point of view. There are the car makers that have
Hmm.
to improve their own battery technology to allow the vehicles to charge faster. But then there is the charging infrastructure manufacturers, such as Nidec. So on the battery technology, of course, we are kind of following what the vehicles do. So we see that in the, let's say, car market, so like the market that you and me could, let's say, directly impact because we would
Hmm.
use the vehicles. I see that the cars are, let's say, improving their technology to increase their ranges, but also to increase their available, let's say, power accepted. But as we said before, unfortunately, this is still not, let's say, the maximum that we are still seeing today. It's 300 to 400 kilowatt. And
Okay.
from the charging infrastructure point of view, it's let's say, kind of normal. For example, we provided what we call the DC tower, which is an all-in-one solution that allows to charge up to 400 kilowatt even. And at the moment, there are maybe one or two vehicles globally that can charge at
All
that.
right. Okay.
But
So still somewhere in the future at this point,
yeah,
at
yeah,
least.
absolutely, absolutely. Because anyways, you have always to think about how big the batteries are and how quickly you can charge these batteries. But
Yeah.
an exciting development is the commercial vehicle side of it, which means maybe buses or trucks. In that case, we are talking about, of course, larger vehicles, which means that they will have much larger batteries. Just to
Hmm.
give you an information, let's say the normal car that you and me could drive, maybe it has 60, 70, 100 kilowatt hours of batteries. But for the buses and trucks, we are talking about 500 kilowatt hours of battery, even more. And of course, it's a completely different scale of the problem. So those vehicles actually already today could take the 400 kilowatt of the DC tower that we are offering. But
Hmm.
what's the next step? Always, what's the next step? We are looking on what's the next step. And the next
Hmm.
step is actually mega charging. Mega charging is a new standard. Physically, it's a new connector to connect these trucks and buses that will allow to have to charge the vehicles at a power which is exceeding 1 megawatt. That is why, for
Wow.
example, we released and we are releasing actually in these days, in this month, the new DC split. The new DC split, it's a product which is tailor-made basically for fleets. It's a modular charger which allows to charge simultaneously up to 12 connectors, which means 12 vehicles, and it has a
Hmm.
power up to 1.2 megawatts. And this
Wow.
is great because it's already puts the foundation for the next year development of the mega charger in the e-mobility line of Nidec.
All right. And when you're referring to fleets, this is mostly directed to the, as you said, for example, buses or trucks, or what you have in mind?
So the fleets that will use this type of technology, it is
Hmm.
heavy duty fleets for sure.
Okay,
So this
I
means
got you.
medium to long haul commercial fleets. So means trucks of different levels and
Hmm.
buses. There are, let's say, the light duty fleets, which means the vans that do the last mile um, deliveries, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
There could be in the future some development in the mega charging sector of it, also from that part of the fleets, but at the moment I don't see it.
All right. Okay,
Mm.
I got your point. All right. Thank you for that. And since we're reaching somewhere till the end, unfortunately, because this is a topic I could really, really talk about hours. always ask my guests about their advices, their point of view. Like, what would you do as, product manager, designer, uh, I don't know, maybe newcomer coming to e-mobility sector, or working in other sectors, just to, kind of bridge the gap between them to learn from others. What would be your advices uh, in terms of UX, which is super critical to bring in this it is technical complexity because you need to catch a lot of loose ends whenever you deliver such a solution uh, for users, right? Just to how to ensure this seamless experience during charging, not only charging, checking the status on the app, etc. It's very complex.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would they be? Let's say, I don't know, three, four advices, maybe you already have some in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a complex question, but that's a really relevant question. I will get back to it. I just want to add one last point on the what's for the future. Very
Oh, sure.
quickly,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
we touched the point on the power. So we talked about mega
Yeah.
charging. Then on the payment option, because we talked about QR code, credit cards, RFID apps. The
Yeah.
next thing is the plug and charge. Plug and charge is the new technology that will allow the users basically to register their own vehicles on their apps. And this means that once they connect their cars to the vehicle, they will immediately start charging. So very seamless. You don't even have to think about the payment because it will be all automatic. And I
Okay.
wanted to highlight this because it is really the end game for payment because it will create really a seamless and even better experience compared to the fuel.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. It's even like not only reaching the point that we have on the regular gas stations, it's like exceeding, doing the next step. That's amazing.
Exactly, exactly. Sorry if I came back to that, but I
No,
thought
no,
it
no,
was.
that's good. That was the highlight. So no
Yeah.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So on your last question, what's my suggestion to product managers in
Yeah,
e-mobility,
definitely.
if I
What to
can?
focus on.
Exactly. So I think that we have hinted at already user experience, user centricity. You
Mhm.
have always to think of what are the pain points of the user, what are the needs of the user, and what are the behaviors of the user. And you have to design the processes and design the products around it. Because if you do something, you create a product that it is user-centric, in the end, you will create a successful product. That's the main part of it. Then from a product management point of view, we are always in the middle of everything, right? So
Mhm.
collaboration with cross-functional teams, it's paramount. This means that will have to collaborate with sales. You will have to collaborate with marketing, with engineering, with R&D, with customer support. And these are all touch points in a sense or the other with the user, with the customer. And all this translates, I would say, in three key insights to make the charging solutions in e-mobility as seamless as possible. So let's start from the hardware itself. The hardware must be reliable. So everybody would hate to have a charger that it doesn't work. So the charger must be robust. So the hardware must be robust, but it must be also regularly maintained. And finally, you have to have a remote control in real time of it. So this is where it comes, for example, IoT, so Internet of Things connectivity to your assets. This is why, for example, we provide solutions like Nidec BYS, which is a cloud-based platform to have an insight remotely to your assets. So
Mhm.
reliability is the first thing. Then we said it, ease of use. You have to present something which is intuitive and straightforward to the user, which means that in the end, the user will be happy, will be recurring, which means that you will have a user that will come back to your charging station, which translates to a happy customer because it will have a running business and a profitable business. And lastly, real-time updates. We talked about the apps, we talked about plug and charge. To have these features working correctly, you have to have a real-time communication between the different parts of the ecosystem. The charger by itself, it's kind of, let me say dumb, but if you connect it with the CPOs or via OCPP, if you connect it with the IoT platforms, in real time, it becomes smart. It allows this communication with the third-party platforms that enable the ecosystem to come all together overall and work properly for the user, to ensure in the end to reduce completely the anxiety and reduce the friction and make it easy for the user to use the chargers.
As you said, you need to provide kind of a 360 approach in order to provide whole environment around it, not only the charges itself, right? So not the pieces of the experience, but there is need to be someone who actually makes it a whole together, which is here actually. And great job on this one, because we do know a lot of Nidec, a lot of your product development, and yeah, chapeau bas, I could say only. So sorry, but we've reached the point that we need to say bye to our audience. The worst thing about 25 minutes series is it lasts only 25 minutes. But thank you once again all for joining us today on around the product development. Please do join Agile Product Builders community on Slack. And of course, I'd already love to invite all of you to our next episode, which is next Thursday, 4 p.m. as always. Thank you, Andrea, for your time. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Oscar. It was a pleasure.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.